Name 12 different characters of the Final Fantasy series. Sid, Wedge, and Biggs. That's like 60 characters. I'm joking. On June 8th, that is when they released this trailer. Amazing promo week done by the Square Enix team. Really was absolutely hype. Every day, dude. 2.3 million views on these posts. Like every single day you're getting like 1 million, 1.8 million, 2 million, 2.4, 1.8. On average, 2 million people are like tuning in to these posts, or like seeing it, scrolling by it, not interacting with it, which is interesting. But overall, people were paying attention to it, and it really did hype everybody up, and myself as well. I was putting out a video every day to talk about each one and what it could mean. And sure enough, they did exactly what I thought they would do, which is all the green highlighted text inside of these messages are elements that were conveyed and expressed on and explained in the trailer that was revealed soon. We got to see all of that stuff. We got to see new comrades and how they will be cooperating with each other in battle. We got to see the new arrangements of an old song from Remake, as well as possibly a new one. More information was revealed soon. They made preparations for the game to be able to be played without playing Remake. Then you have the chain of narrative developments of each character's destiny being explained, high degree of freedom, which was showcased in amazing fashion, and of course they're working down on nailing release date, which was the last thing that they showcased to us that made a lot of people a little bit excited. Early 2024. Square Enix, amazing. GG's in the chat. That was fun. That was a really fun week. What a way to cap off and actually start Summer Games Fest and our trip into LA to enjoy the entire event with everybody. Had a phenomenal time and a blast. And seriously, looking forward to the future of what could be in store for us for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I do hope, fingers crossed, that eventually what they did with Final Fantasy 16, which is an entire event, basically pre-launch celebration, inviting all the creators, a bunch of fans to enjoy and partake in the celebration. I hope that Square Enix sees the value in which the Final Fantasy 16 event did and carries on into doing that for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I think it's an amazing choice. I think it's something that they need to do. And I seriously cannot express enough how big of a deal this will be. Regardless of the fact that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is technically a sequel of like the remake series, it is definitely going to be just as big, just as hype as Final Fantasy 16, if not more, because of how dedicated and extreme the Final Fantasy 7 fans are. A lot of times people will get angry at the fact that people say Final Fantasy 7 is the best Final Fantasy, and while that is not an objective opinion, it's entirely subjective, I like to think there is some positivity behind it, because with Final Fantasy VII being the best Final Fantasy, introducing many other people that weren't RPG fans into this game, into its series in general, it immediately enhanced the other games as well. Because while people experience Final Fantasy VII as the gateway RPG, let's say, they go into it, they play it, they enjoyed it, they want to see what the other games have to offer, and a lot of them ended up checking out FF8, FF9, FF10, and even going backwards and checking out the previous good ones in the original release scale, like Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy IV, all that stuff. So for me, I think Final Fantasy VII is the best Final Fantasy because of how much it elevated the series. Not necessarily like what it does better than the other games, or that its story is better than the other games. It's not about that, really. I'm looking at it in a sense that it helped the series get to a certain point to where everybody is all in on it. And I don't understand why people get angry when they hear that. Like me as a fan, there's a lot of other Final Fantasies I generally like. Like obviously, nostalgia wise, I will gravitate more towards Final Fantasy VII more. But there are some people that I wouldn't say are gatekeepers, but are angry at the fact that 7 gets a lot of the shine. And I think that it's not something necessarily to be angry about, because at the end of the day, it elevates the entire series and is ultimately a good thing at the end of the day. FF7 as a solo game is not the best game. FF6 is, but as a full multiple game, then FF7 is the best. You missed the point, Carlos. I wasn't trying to say it's better than all the other games because it's content-wise more impactful. What I mean is like what it has done for the series as a whole. I would label it as the best because of that. Name 12 different characters of the Final Fantasy series. Sid, Wedge, and Biggs. That's like 60 characters. I'm joking. You think Yuffie and Vincent will be optional in these games? No, they're definitely going to be included. There's way too many scenes to have to rework, and dialogue options to redo, and story elements to make not appear, especially in like AAA gaming these days, to make them optional characters. Yuffie and Vincent also appeared in the compilation. They have big points in like Dirge of Cerberus and stuff, so it'd be really weird if they left them out for remake, especially after Yuffie got her own DLC with Intermission. They definitely were teasing scale with those compass markers, man. This game is going to be huge. I think that's what I'm going to title this video. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be huge, and it's like the 11,000 meters. The 2-disc aspect is insane. I don't know how exactly that's going to work, because as a digital game, I don't see how that really takes into effect. Original Final Fantasy VII Remake, the vanilla disc release at least, it's 2 discs that you have to load and install the first one, and then the second one is what you play it off of. Zach will probably get his own campaign, don't you think? I think so. I think it's possible. I think it's very possible Zach gets his own like story stuff. Ultimately, I think Final Fantasy fans, this is going to be a great thing, because I know, okay, the piggybacking onto what I was saying before with Final Fantasy VII being the greatest Final Fantasy of all time. If you think about it, right, it's kind of doing what it did back in the day, where when Final Fantasy VII shot up and like everybody was all in on it, figuring out what the series is and getting into it, it let all of those new fans also be able to play the old ones and other games that came out after it to sort of discover the series, right? And it's kind of doing that again, because now with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth series and all that stuff coming out, it elevates the series in that sense, because we do know that there's a Final Fantasy IX remake coming out. There's rumors and there's been talks about all the other games in the series, like Final Fantasy X as well, being remade. It's sort of bringing back and kind of repeating history in a way, where these games will come out and now new fans that are entirely brand new to the series, thanks to Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy XVI, they'll be enjoying those games as well, which is a great thing for Square Enix, and I think a great thing for fans in general. But all in all, I think Final Fantasy is in a really good spot, and it's going to be very exciting outside of like Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 whenever that comes out. But the series in general, what it looks like, at least from Square Enix, they have very high plans to continue this hype into other releases by remaking other titles and also creating new ones. So ultimately, I think they're using this as a great way to get back to form and bring out amazing games for newcomers and old-time veterans to enjoy. And ultimately, we're all going to be eating good. As if we haven't been already, it's going to continue going forward, and I think we are getting to a really good point for fans all over. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy videos are on the way, and you do not want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.